o'clock.
Oh. Hey, great Monday evening, everybody. It is Dr. Anissa Short welcoming you once again to another edition of Conversations with Chosen Pen. I am delighted this evening to have yet another fabulous guest. And of course, Dr. Norma McLaughlin has joined us once again. That is 2 Mondays in a
How
row.
about
We're really
that? How
excited.
about that?
I know, right?
It almost didn't happen again.
I know, right? A lot has been going on in our world, and we're excited about sharing that information with you. We're excited about introducing you to yet another author. Listen, they are everywhere. If you put it out there, if you just look, you'll see them. They're everywhere. And I'm excited about the one that we have today because I know her from a different perspective. But anyway, before we jump into that, Lady Norma, welcome again. Hank, thank you for so much for this opportunity. What do you want to share with the crowd before we meet our guest?
Well, I'm just happy to be here again tonight. It almost happened again that I wasn't able to participate, but I am here. So I am really, really excited about that. I'm always excited about meeting children's authors because we know that literacy is real near and dear to our hearts, and that we want to see all of our children at reading levels above the national norm. So we're excited to have you and the contributions that you make to that particular endeavor. And hopefully that we will have some of the children that will read your books. And of course, when I see what will you choose, that's one of my favorite things, is I do free to choose. And a lot of my books are about choosing and choices. So I'm excited about hearing about that and reading your book as well.
Well, one of the things, as you know, for those who've been watching us for a while, we started with this childhood literacy campaign in September, I believe it was. We just decided to continue it on, not just childhood literacy, but literacy in general. But much of our emphasis has been on childhood literacy because we know that everything starts at the infant level when they're in infancy, when they're in the womb, their early childhood education, the foundation that's set for children when it comes to literacy, comprehension, things of that nature starts at an early age. The earlier you start, the better. And one of the things we're especially excited about when we talk about our childhood literacy campaign is the work that we're have an opportunity to do in South Africa. Lady Norma and I went to Johannesburg, South Africa in September. We also went to Botswana, South Africa. And a result of that experience, we have now started, I guess you could say, initiated a collaboration with the school in Johannesburg. Dr. Norma, you want to share a little bit about how Chosen Pen, how Forgiveness Across Borders is partnering with a school in South Africa?
Yes, indeed. We are working with, and I forgot the name of the school, but it is a school it's a primary school, which means it goes to the 7th grade. And we are partnering with them because it's a public school. So simply same with us, they don't have everything that they need to be the success that their principal would like for them to be, or even that their society would encourage them to be. So we're stepping in to try to fill that gap, be it with curricula, with any type of books, because our main focus is reading. And we're trying to gather at least 1,000 books to send to them and get there as we develop a library for them. And those books will be put in the library. We're building it from the whole, we're having it painted now. And now the next phase of that library is putting in shelves. So we're doing that. But we're also collecting books, not only books, but we're going to need encyclopedias, maps, world maps, everything that a child needs to learn or to know how to broaden and give more depth and scope to their academics. So any of those things that if anyone's under my listening ear can hear that and would like to volunteer to either give that or provide funds in order for us to get that, would be most appreciative. And we will, anything that you give, we let people know that it is from you as well. So I'm really, really excited about that, as you can tell, I'm sure. And so we will be working with that, and I'm sure you'll hear a lot more about
Exactly.
it. But when we're going back as a group in March 23rd through April 1st. We'll be there. So if you have anything we haven't sent it by then, please get it to us by then.
Right. We're looking for authors who want to serve as an advocate, what we call a literary advocate, by providing copies of their books. Of course, you assist in helping with defraying the cost, because we'll have to ship them there. But you decide how many copies, and if you have several books, you can designate as many as you like. It will have more information about that. We even want to work with other organizations like sororities, fraternities, ministerial organizations that want to sponsor. They can collect books and then get them to us, because when we go back in March, what our goal is that the library will be waiting on the books, and we are looking forward to presenting them to the principal. The school is excited about us working with them in that capacity. So anyway, enough about that. Let's talk a little about let's talk to our guest. Why don't we? That's why she's here. Alicia Henderson from the great state of Florida. She was once a North Carolinian with the rest of us, but they moved several years ago. Alicia, welcome to Conversations with Chosen Pen, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Well, thank you for the invite. I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
So tell us a little bit about you, Alicia. Now, I know I could go on and on, but I'm not interviewing myself. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you've done in the past with regards to childhood education.
Okay, so my name is Alicia Henderson. I am a wife. I have 3 daughters and I have a granddaughter. I have my associate's degree in early childhood education. I have worked as a Head Start teacher for many years as a Head Start teacher. I also have worked in the public school systems, helping with early literacy and also helping with special needs children. I have worked in a youth center. At a youth center currently, I am the operations clerk at the Naval Support Activity in Panama City, Florida. I am their operations clerk. I have wrote my first children's book of choices, What Will You Choose? I have had the opportunity to be in a program in Head Start with the early learning literacy module. I was one of the teachers that was selected to actually run that program to help children with their the learning of their not only their alphabet, just everything that entails with the literacy program. I was one of the few that was chosen to actually run that program, and we found that it was very beneficial for the children because it did help them be more prepared to enter into kindergarten.
Wow, that's awesome. See, I didn't know all of that about you, Alicia. What I did know is that you used to work at Children's Church in Harvest.
I did. I have also worked in different children's church because my husband was military. So we did have the opportunity to travel to different places. I did work in Harvest Family Church as a teacher in the children's church ministry, also in Destiny Family Christian Center in Victorville, California, and also Living Word in Kansas. In Kansas, we went to Junction City, Kansas. So I was also involved in their children's church as well, helping out with different age groups, not only the early children, but also the elementary age children as well.
Excellent. So you've been around children for the most part, and when from a career standpoint, much of what you've done, other than being an awesome mom and fabulous wife, has been working with children in various capacity, from the secular and the non-secular arenas. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am. That is fair to say.
Tell us about your book then. What led you to write your book?
Well, I was inspired to write my book for my granddaughter. My granddaughter was actually had a love for books when she, at a very early age, we introduced her to books at an early age. We was teaching her to read even before she went into preschool and to kindergarten. But once she entered into kindergarten, her kindergarten teacher told her, well, you can't read. So that really discouraged her from reading. And then she fell out of love with reading books. So then she was like, well, I can't read. So it's important what you teach your children and to make sure that the right things are going into your children and not to let everyone speak into your children's lives. So I decided that I would write a book to help her to fall back in love with reading. And so far, she was able to take my book to her school and read it to her classmates. And also they invited her to go into the kindergarten classrooms and read it as well for the kindergarten children. So that brought great joy to her. And then one of the main character in the book, she would be like, oh, that's me, because I told her, this is you in this book. So she can see herself, not only her that she can see in this book, but every child can see themselves in this book because it is a multicultural book for
That's
everyone to be able
excellent.
to see themselves. And that's what I want. It was so important for me to do, was to let everyone see themselves in the book so that we would leave no one out.
That's great, Alicia. That you and Lady Norma have something in common. I'm going to let her just tag in because I know she's about to burst at the seams because both of you are GG's, grandma, whatever the term is you use, and you both have children, and your children or grandchildren served as your inspiration. Dr. Norma, what do you want to share or add to this
Well,
conversation?
I'm really, really excited about my grandchildren. My oldest grandchild is my granddaughter, who is 12 now, believe it or not. But we published her first book, at least 3 years ago, which is Haven, Please Forgive Me, which is Haven is her name. And now that book is in Spanish and in French. It is in Africa as well as in Paris. My grandson, who is 7 now, who started writing and giving the words, so he talked his book out. So we wrote it, and so he's co-authored already with his book, which is Eden. What is it? Saving the World. Eden Saves the World. So and so all of them are series, and so to me, and like what you're saying, we're trying to leave a legacy for our children, a legacy of literacy, so that they will learn to love that, and knowing that they are also passing it on. That these books look like the matter of fact, it's their pictures in the book were inspired by their own photos, so they will always have something that they can leave in the world, whether I'm here, their parents are here, or whatever. But it's already in the library, and it is they are global. And so I'm excited about that.
One of the things I love that you both have done is that you understood the importance of representation. A lot of times when you get textbooks, and that's one of the things about being in Africa, when we went to South Africa, and the authors, when we went to South Africa in September, let me say, and the authors that were children's book authors, they made sure that they said representation matters. So the students were very attuned and excited about seeing characters in the book that look like them.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes it's one-sided. Alicia, I so appreciate you embracing the concept of diversity, because when you go into a school setting, especially in the military, but not just there, but throughout, there is not just one demographic represented. There are multiple demographics represented. There are multiple ethnicities. So why don't the books and everything that they introduce to the children serve as representation of that? So I can congratulations to you both for having the foresight for that. Let me go back to something you said, Alicia. You mentioned that your granddaughter, and I remember this, she's a smart cookie, but she was reading before she started school, and you made reference to the teacher telling her she could not read.
Right.
Parents have to be advocates for their children. That's all I'm going to say about that, because if you don't serve as the advocate and the more dominant voice in your child's ear, then the other voices will definitely make an impact. And you mentioned that the teacher said to your granddaughter, you can't read. What was that all about?
Well, she was actually put into what they a private school, and I guess it was because of she was one of the minority people that was in the school, and so based on that, they were singling her out and letting her know, hey, you're not as good as a reader as the other children are. So in them doing that, it discouraged her from reading. Now my daughter also, whenever she was in school, my youngest daughter, her teacher in first grade had also put her in a high reading class. Well, they switched teachers midway through the school year, and the other teacher that came in was like, oh no, you don't need to be in the high reading class, you need to be over here in the second group. So they moved her from the high reading class over into another reading group, and she decided, well, I'm not going to read anymore. And so when we moved her to a different school, she told the teacher, oh, I don't like to read, I'm not going to read anymore. And to this day, she doesn't like to read, but her job that she has now forces her to read every day and to do the things she can read. She just she doesn't have that passion to read anymore because of what the elementary school teachers put into her at that age. Even in the third grade, second and third grade, they were telling her, well, you're not a good reader, you're not a good reader. But we knew that she was a good reader, and we kept encouraging her to do that.
Right. Well, it all starts at home, and the school should it starts at home, and the school is to reinforce or build upon the foundation that started at home. Unfortunately, though, we do know that in some households, reading is not encouraged, and so the children come in at a deficiency from the onset, and then if we find that they're playing catch up. Dr. Norma, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, because as she was saying about, the reason we started our private school, our church school, was simply because my son, who was getting all this negative reinforcement from his school. So by the time he was ready to go to middle school, my husband and I said, we just cannot do this any longer. He never had anyone in his classroom who looked like him. I mean, a teacher who looked like him. And anytime that he went into class, they automatically put him with the other boys that looked like him. And then they, of course, said, okay, well, you all are the bad kids, or you all are the whatever, and never had an opportunity to advance until I said, okay, we've had enough of this. So we took them, we went to all the tutoring and did all that. So he's fine. What is it that we're supposed to be doing to help him? And we're going, well, we don't know, but you better do something, to help him. I don't see it, so I can't help him. So, but anyway, make a long story short, we started our own school, and he was in the 5th grade. That's where he graduated from, in 12th grade. And so parents have to do what parents have to do.
Right.
My husband sat in the classroom with him, I guess, for 2 or 3 weeks, trying to figure out what he says. The only thing I see is he's sitting over with a bunch of kids who are not doing any work. And they're just sitting over, and you're not doing, and the teacher's not doing anything about it, just letting them do whatever it is that they wanted to do.
Right. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It happens more often than we realize. And the fact that we have more authors, seemingly, I don't know, maybe it's because I hadn't been very as engaged in the literary world, but since being involved, I see more and more people of color writing books with diversity in mind, and then touching on all various genre of topics, a very, from character development to just basic life stories, things of that nature. Educational. We have a young lady that was on once before. She's an engineer, and so her book is on STEM. And then there was another lady that was one of our guests who wrote a book about her grandparents' farm, and she's going to be going back to Africa with us because they're going to be building a garden for the kids at the school. So she's going to help with not only sharing her story of her book, but also working with them on cultivating their own garden. So life skills can be integrated in various with various mechanisms, and books are the best way to start. So Alicia, if we wanted to tell us about the book, it's called Choices, and is it about what type of choices? Just choices in general or overall, or?
So Choices is a multicultural book. It is an educational book that helps children with decision making. It's a confident building story. It lets children know that it is important that the choices that they make is not only affects them, it affects everyone around them, their family, their community. It affects their friends, every decision that they make. And then it also lets them know that when they're not sure which choice then they should make, that they're always welcome to go and talk to someone to help them make the decision that they need to make. It is full of rhyming words for the younger children, because we know that the children learn through rhyming words. It also teaches opposites, because it lets them know that, just different opposites. You can cry, you can smile, you can give, you can take. You have the power of choice. So you have the power to choose to be happy. You have the power to choose to be sad. It is I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
It is
I understand that.
a mental health. You can talk to children about mental health, because it's a good mental health book for children, because we know with COVID and all of the separation, the anxiety, they can choose to speak, they can choose to be silent, they can choose to be strong, they can choose to be weak. So it's up to you what the choices that you decide that you want to make is what this book is about. So with everything, the separation and all of that COVID has brought along, then that just opens up the avenue for you to talk to the children about the different choices that they can make, and even that to let them know that they're not alone in making the choices that they want to make, that they can always find a friend and somebody that they can talk to.
That's good. I love it, Alicia. Dr. Norman, you have any questions?
Oh no, I mean, as I say, I love anything that has to, you have to choose and make a decision, and for those decision making skills. So I really, really like that, and I was hoping we will also not only get it for our kids in Africa, but here at our school here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, as well.
Yes, Alicia, we may have to have you come back to Fayetteville for a visit. When you're,
Yes, ma'am. I can do
I
that.
don't know if I don't know if you've done a book tour, physical book tour outside the state, but if Fayetteville just by chance pops up on your radar, let us know so we can partner with you and getting you some exposure here in the city for sure. Tell us how we can secure a copy of your book, Alicia.
So my book is available on Amazon.com. It is also available on Barnes and Noble. You can also find it on Walmart.com, and you can also go into Books a Million, and Books a Million also has it. You can order it through them. It's not in their store, but you can order it because we do have a Books a Million here. And I went into the store and asked them if they could order the book, and they told me yes. So all you have to do is just go into a Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, and you can order the book there.
Okay, so we got Barnes and Noble, Books a Million online, Walmart as well, and
Online
Amazon. All those.
and Amazon. Yes, ma'am.
All right, excellent, excellent. We appreciate you again for saying yes to this invitation, Alicia. I'm excited about your book. Congratulations on the exposure and the content, the message that you give in the book. Tell your granddaughter we're happy for her, and to hear that she's working as your sidekick to get the word out and to share the stories with other children. That's a plus. It's a family affair. Dr. Norma
Yes,
can
ma'am.
relate
It
to
is.
it because that's what she's doing with her grandchildren. I think that's a beautiful thing, and we hope you sell lots and lots and lots of copies. Okay, lots and lots and lots of copies. Lady
And
Norma,
does your granddaughter say, how much is in my bank account yet? That's what my grandchildren want to know every time they sell a book.
Well, she haven't asked that question yet, so
all right. Well, as we were saying earlier, that Chosen Pen Publishing, in addition to Choose to Forgiveness Across Borders, will be headed back to South Africa in the month of March. We are going to be we have rather established a partnership with the school there. Literacy is our mission, our passion, childhood literacy. So if you are an author anywhere in the continental United States, anywhere across the globe, and you want your books to be featured in the schools, let us know. If you'd like to be interviewed on this platform, let us know so we can get your information out there to the masses. We just started this podcast platform. We're excited about it, looking forward to the continued growth of it. We want to give exposure. This is our way of offering exposure to other authors. We do that for our own authors who publish with Chosen Pen Publishing, but it's not just about us. Everybody counts. And so this platform is one where we can spread the love no matter where you live and no matter what books you've written, as long as they have a positive message. And especially if they serve children, then we want you to be featured. Now, next week, we have a fabulous guest, one of our very own, Miss Colette Harrell. She has written a phenomenal book, a bestseller, as a matter of fact. And I do believe there's some exciting things going on with her book being taken to the next level. So she will be our guest on next week. The Monday that follows will be a special edition of the Chosen Conversations with Chosen Pen. And then we're going to take a sabbatical because you know what? It's the holiday season. So we're going to love on family, eat too much, exchange gifts, do a little traveling. We will be back the second Monday in January. But find us on Facebook, Chosen Pen Publishing. Subscribe on our YouTube page, Chosen Pen Publishing. Be sure to follow us because as information is made available, we'll be sharing with you on how you can partner with Chosen Pen, how you can support our initiatives, and how we might even be able to support you. With that being said, that is the end of our edition of Conversations with Chosen Pen tonight. Thank you so much again for hanging out with us in this space. Thank you for carving out a little bit of your time to be with us, and be sure to share this broadcast with those that you know. In the meantime, make it a great week, and we'll see you next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Good night.